Good morning, students. Today I will continue chapter 12 about revenue cycle, sales up to collection of cash. Previously, if you remember, we discussed the four main activities in our cycle, which are, of course, in sequence: sales order entry, then shipping, then billing, and eventually cash collection. Let's go back to our billing step. Billing contains actually many items, and we can classify them mainly to invoicing the customers and maintain or keep our AR. Right, let's go to the first one, number A, invoicing. Invoicing, actually this is an accurately and timely billing for shipped merchandise to our customers. This is a critical, crucial point, step we have to concentrate on. In this step, sales invoice should be prepared, which inform our customers about the amount to be paid and where to send the payment. Like many companies, our company AOE still print a paper invoice and mail it to many of its smaller customers. In fact, anyway, large customers receive invoices via electronic data interchange. So the basic document here, I confirm it again, is the sales invoice, as I mentioned before, to notify the customers about the amount to be paid later on, of course, on specific dates. And it should also, by the way, include credit approval from an authorized credit department, and of course shipping place and bill to, the price, description of the items, the price each, total amount, etc., etc. About maintaining accounts, the second step, maintaining accounts receivable. We have two main tasks, in fact. The two basic task ways to keep the receivable up to date are open invoice method, and the second is balance forward methods. In fact, شباب, there are two basic ways to maintain accounts receivable. They are the open invoice and the balance forward method. Let's discuss the first one first. Number one, under the open invoice method, customers actually pay according to each invoice separately. Usually 2 copies of every invoice are mailed to the customer. They go to him and come back to the company again. The company, the customer is requested to return 1 copy, of course, plus the payment back to our company. In fact, we call this copy is a turnaround document. Why should we call it? Because it is initiated from the company, go to the customer, and come back to the company again. The copy, as I mentioned before, the turnaround document, we called a remittance advice. Customer payments are then applied against specific invoice. On the contrary, the balance forward method Customer typically pay according to the amount shown on a monthly statement sent to him rather than individual invoice. The monthly statements lists all transactions including both sales and payments, and is to some extent suitable when customers deals with banks. And as I told you, they occurred or include transaction occurred during the past month, and therefore inform our customers of their current account balances. What about disadvantage versus disadvantage of the open invoice? First, actually we are having two advantage for the open invoice method. It is conducive to offer discount for prompt, immediate, payments, as invoices are individually tracked and aged, classified according to the age of the debt. Second, it also results in a more uniform flow of cash collection throughout the year. What about the disadvantage of the open invoice? In fact, they add complexity, a bit complicated. Required to keep information about the status of every individual invoice for every customer, which is really hard. Consequently, the open invoice method is used by business whose customers are primarily other business or companies, not individual. Why? Because the number of individual transactions with those businesses relatively small. They are relatively small, and the dollar amount is quite high. In this slide, we'll discuss producing monthly statement for subset of customers at different times. In fact, many companies that use balance forward method use a process, we call it cycle billing. What for? To prepare and mail monthly statements to their customers. What does it mean, such definitions? It means that monthly statements are prepared for a subset of customers, some or group of our customers at different times. Let's have an example. The customer master file, subsidiary ledger, we call it master file, and you must know that eventually end of the year amount appeared in the master file for every individual AR should be in agree with the control account in the general ledger. Anyway, the customer master file might be divided into 4 parts, and every week monthly statement should be prepared for 1/4, a quarter of our customers, to make it easy for the company to send the bill to all our customers, the statement to all our customers. So again, we divided them into 4 parts. Every part of our customers, we will send him a bill during 1 week in the month, after dividing, of course, the month into 4 weeks. So it will be easier for us anyway. The second point, adjustment. Adjustment to a customer account is really necessary. For example, the customer account may be credited to show either the return of the items if they are damaged or inferior in quality, or or bad, defective, etc., or allowance granted for damaged goods, without returning them back, we can offer the customer a discount. We call it allowances. Right. The third point, upon notification from the receiving department in our company that goods have been returned, the credit manager actually should issue a credit memo, which is really important. It authorizes the crediting of the customer account. Anyway, if the damage to good is minimum, the customer may agree to keep them at a reduced price. Anyway, in each cases, the credit manager should issue a credit memo to reflect the amount, to show the amount which should be credited to the customer account. Additionally, a copy of credit memo is sent to account receivable to authorize an adjustment to the customer account balances. And then another copy also should be sent to our customers. Now let's go to the final step in billing process. Threads faces this process and how to control it. If you can realize, we have actually 4 threads, and again every one is matched with 1 or 2 control activity. First one, failure to bill customers. Here the control activity, we can reconcile invoices with sales order and also shipping document, searching for any discrepancies or conflicts to investigate it. Second one, separate, we have the segregation of duties. If you remember, control activity, and I always confirm it, segregation of duties, so we can separate shipping from billing functions. The second one, billing errors. The solution will be a data entry edit control, or configure the system for automatically enter all price data. The third one, posting errors. This is of course unintentional mistake in AR. Number 3, the control activity. You have to reconcile, adjust subsidiary accounts. Of course, we have subsidiary accounts for AP individually and AR. Here we concentrate on AR, accounts receivable. Subsidiary account receivable balances to the amount appear for the AR, which we call it control account, the totals in the general ledger, to investigate any conflict or discrepancies. Number 4, thread number 4, inaccurate or invalid credit memos. This is very important because it's a method of fraud, credit memos, sales return and allowances. Also, segregation of authorization and recording function for credit memos. As you can see, I always keep stressing the importance of segregation of duties as part of the control activities. I ask you a question: why this reconciliation should be performed by someone other than the individual who is involved in processing the original transaction? Excuse me. Because the first one, it's easier to catch someone else's mistake than my own mistakes. Second, it provides a means to identify possible cases of fraud. Fraud means misstatements in the record. I mean, intentional mistake or manipulation of the records. Mailing monthly account statement to every customer, in fact, provide an additional independent review of posting accuracy, because customers will complain, of course, if their account haven't been properly credited for payment they remitted or finished. Thank you for all of you. I have finished my lecture, and inshallah I will see you in the following part. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله.